1624 update. First, a review. 1624 is a law and created a team of foster parents who consult with DSHS leadership about what's working and what's not. And this year, I'm on that team. One of the other team members, a foster parent from the Seattle area, has been working on a foster parent survey. And at our last meeting, she gave a presentation about what she learned. And there was one slide that jumped out at me. So I want to share it with you. It's about how a foster parent's mindset evolves as their relationship with a child and their knowledge of a particular case grows. Here's the slide.
So based on foster parents' responses to a survey, at the beginning of a placement, a foster parent is willing and even eager to help out, and they are aware that a child may not remain in their home for very long. As time passes, though, the foster parent becomes an expert on that particular child. At a certain point, I'm sure it's a little different for each child and family, the foster parent reaches a condition in which nobody knows the child better than they do. They are the expert, and they stop thinking about this as a temporary stay because it's gone on for too long to be temporary. In the later stages of a placement, we see one more added ingredient. The bond between foster parent and child becomes so complete and mature that it's difficult to distinguish it from the bonds that the foster parent has with their own biological children. From the foster parent's perspective, that kid is just as much theirs as a child who shares their DNA. They are still willing to help, and they are still the experts on the child, but at a certain point, their relationship with the child matures such that natural parental instincts to protect and provide kick in.
Now, all that's pretty logical when you look at it in a nice, neat chart form. Of course, that's what the survey shows. It makes complete sense. But when you're in the thick of it, foster parents and social workers, I think have a hard time seeing how their mindset has changed. And there are two ways I can imagine that this evolution, which is right and natural, could create friction between social workers and foster parents. One is if a social worker is not sensitive to the ways in which a foster parent's mindset has evolved, it can cause them to be accidentally dismissive of a foster parent's relationship with the child. Imagine being a foster parent whose bond with a child is so mature that your natural parental instincts have kicked in, and then a social worker makes a case-related decision that you don't agree with. What do you do? Well, a year ago, you might have calmly disagreed, but not today. Today, you go full-on protective mama bear mode. Or the converse scenario might also be true. Maybe you're a foster parent in the midst of a long-term placement, and your relationship with the child hasn't matured the way that you think it should have by now. Those instincts haven't kicked in, but you think they should have. You're feeling a little guilty and maybe insecure that you don't have the natural parental instincts, that you don't feel like this kid is your own. And then a social worker makes a case-related decision that you disagree with, and then maybe you, foster parent, overcompensate for the connection you think you should have grown but haven't, and lash out. I think that's why those two scenarios, or why so many social work v. foster parent conflicts occur late in placements, because the relationship evolves between the foster parent and the child, and it's hard for anybody, social worker, child, foster parent, me, anybody, to understand how it's evolved and how quickly, because these people we're dealing with, and people are messy, and there's no like special sign that tells you what the state of the relationship is. The bad news is that foster parents aren't emotionless child care robots. They have messy feelings like any other human person, and they put themselves in some very emotionally complex situations. So it shouldn't be a surprise to us that, they get a little touchy sometimes. But the good news is the fact that foster parents are a little raw and emotional, and maybe emotionally entangled, is a sign that they are, generally speaking, bonding with the children in their home. And that's the whole ballgame. That is kids need a bond with their caregiver in order to develop naturally, and that is why the entire institution of foster care exists, to create conditions under which children can bond with a substitute caregiver and return to a natural developmental trajectory. So in some ways, that emotional mess is a sign that it's working. Anyway, sorry for nerding out on you today. Two pretty dense, wonky videos in a row, but this stuff fascinates me. And if it fascinates you too, then maybe consider a career in child welfare. Next time.